Hello guys, today I will be replacing spark plugs on 2.7 Dodge Avenger, same as Chrysler Sebring and Chrysler 200. So to replace three plugs on one band, quite easy to access, 10mm socket. You unplug the wiring, you remove the coils, and 5/8 socket for the spark plugs. To get to the second bank, you need to remove the air intake. So that what we will do today. So in general, to start with, you need to remove all the wires going to your intake. Then you need to remove hose clamps. 8mm socket will do that, and remove this hose going to your butterfly. Then you will need to remove those two hoses, just pull them out. Then you need to remove this tube too. It's 8mm socket. So this is Mitsubishi engine, so basically most of the bolts and nuts will be 8mm. So the same 8mm on the bottom to remove this tube. Then we have 7 10mm long bolts over here that need to go off, and on the other side there is the bracket that holds all this intake. So basically that's 10mm, and when we remove the nut we will pull it back. If we need, that rod is connected at the bottom end with 13mm nut, so we might need to get it loose. But let's start with the wiring harnesses, as I said. Then we can undo this vacuum tubes. Then I guess I will do this tube first. So it's 8mm, so we'll do the top first and then we'll do the bottom. So this is coming off quite easy. Let's try the bottom one. Those look a little bit more rusty over there. This one is coming off quite easy too. So let's remove the tube and we will continue. So this is the tube that I just removed. Those are the two bottom bolts and two top screws. Was quite easy to remove those. Next time I probably will put some anti-seize just in case, but this time it was easy. Like I replaced my spark plugs probably 3 or 4 years ago, so I went through this procedure once already. So next, what we can do, we can remove this air intake hose, and this piece will should just slide up and off, and then we can do 7 bolts that hold in air intake itself. So for the hose clamps you can use 8mm socket too, same as for the tube on both sides. And then you just, when they are quite loose, you just wiggle this hose off. Also, this is much easier to do when the engine is cool. Since we are working with clean side after the air filter, I would strongly recommend to cover this with the rag or paper towel, so same thing on a butterfly, so no dust gets in. And we will go and remove those 7. So those are all loose. One more thing, I'll try to show you. Here's another rod that is holding the intake, same as on the back, so that will be 10 mil. So we will go ahead and remove this nut and pull off the rod, as well as those 2 on the back. I'm just trying to show you where exactly they are. So here's one, and I don't know if you will see on the other side, but it's the same. Yeah, kinda. So this is what we need to remove to get the air intake off. So I will go ahead and do those 3. So I got this one, this nut off. I just used 10 mil with extension, and then 13 mil on the bottom. Go here, and this rod is loose now. So we got this just a little bit loose, so the rod can slide off that bolt. And same thing for other 2 on the back. Okay, on this side, for the top one, I just used 10 mil deep socket without any extension because there is not much room, and for the bottom one I just used 13 mil deep socket. Wasn't difficult to remove them. The most difficult part is to find them because you cannot see really the bottom bolt. So just by feel, you use 13 on the bottom and 10 on top. So now I'll move to the other side. So on the other side, on the passenger side, bottom one 13 mil deep socket, top one 10 mil shallow socket. I was trying to use 10 mil deep socket and I drop it, so just use shallow one. There is nothing on the way. So now I believe we have removed most of the bolts and fasteners, so this intake should be quite loose at this moment. Yeah, and it is loose. So let me get it off. Okay, we need to remove this hose, I guess, too. Okay. Alright, so now we have a good access to our 3 sparks on the back side of the engine. We will cover our intake with the clean rag so nothing gets in. And When we talk about the spark plugs, again we just remove the power to them, then we remove coil with 10mm socket. So also just put them in the same order as you remove them, so you can install them in the same way. And for the socket itself, we use long extension and a 5/8 spark plug socket, of course. In this case, we might need to use 2 extensions to get in. So we just use 2 smaller ones, and that's what will happen in most of the vehicles when you work closer to the cab. This vehicle uses, at least the sparks that I got, NGK. They do not have a washer underneath. So again, to remove, you remove first extension and then you pull the spark out. So those are not too bad, but they were replaced probably 30,000 Ks ago, so I'll just install the new one. So I'm using NGK 3381. Those are cheaper plugs. Since I replace them quite often, they should work. So as you see, there is no washer, and in this case we hand tied them and then tied them with the ratchet for another, I believe, 1/8, 1/16 of a turn. So we get them in. Hand tight, and then 1/6. So this is hand tight, and then 1/16 of a turn. There won't be much, something like that. And we move to the next one. So I will do other two, and then I guess everything will go back in place in the same order as we got it out. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them under the video. Hopefully it helps somebody. Not the easiest way to replace the spark plugs, but that's how this engine is, and it's not the easiest one to maintain, but you don't need any special tools. Doesn't take too much, probably can get this done in half an hour. So do it yourself. Thanks.